Hey guys, it's Blair. It's day 3. I started a video, the video stopped, I got a message from up above and they were like, this is a message that you need to heed. So I listened and here I am. So today I'm going to start off really easily and quickly with a card reading. Now I've already chosen the card reading that I'm going to be doing today. Chosen the card I'm going to read today from the Goddess Inspirational Oracle Guide. I started with another deck, didn't work out. I just kept getting this message to just go with this Oracle deck because you guys needed to hear something today. What came up was the card MUT. MUT is the mother of mothers, and she says it's time to mother yourself. Healing awaits. So the way I interpret this in a personal connotation is that it's actually time to take care of yourself and make this time about you, okay? A lot of times in Nano we can make excuses for family and friends, we can make excuses for ourselves as to why we don't turn up the page. You know, maybe we've worked a really long day at work, we're tired, we're just not feeling it, and that's okay. You need to feel those feelings to actually get to the page. You need to acknowledge those feelings to get to the page. It also talks about taking care of what you need in life, mothering yourself, and mothering yourself is making sure that you're doing what you want to do, what you're passionate about doing, and if it's in the right direction. If you truly feel like you're not writing the novel that you're supposed to be writing, go with it. Keep going with it, because sometimes we need to go through hard times and struggling times to get out and find the real truth behind what happened. At the same time, you can still take care of yourself by going on this journey. She's also telling me to actually take time out of your day to sort of self-nurture yourself. So that might be as simple as a meditation with a cup of tea, giving yourself or your partner a hug, having a nice hot bath after you've reached your goals for the day, taking some time to read something that you wanted to read all day. Or maybe it's actually doing something a little bit different that you want to challenge yourself with, but you've always been a little bit afraid to. You can do it. You have that inner strength in you, and she's going to guide you today. Now, she's also talking about pasts, and I'm reading from a book because this is a deck I'm not also familiar with. Okay, so it has some information here. This is actually one of my friend's decks, which is strange because I usually resonate with decks I talk about, but okay. She talks about the past and wanting to heal through the past. So this is a really good thing with your characters, because you're wanting to talk about how they're going to heal through their past, get through their past, and their past is definitely going to show up in the novel. That's a definite. You want to intersperse the little bits of their past in a way that's kind of like foreshadowing, not info dump. So you may be tempted to info dump, and that's a good thing because you can kind of info dump during November. But think about interspersing their little secrets and their lies and their mysteries and their past all the way through the novel. She's also telling us that we can do these things by ourselves, and so can our characters. So look at the areas of your novel where your character does need help, and the areas that your character doesn't need help, which really actually is going to lead quite well into what I want to talk about today, which is talking about how to overcome them with our characters, or within the arc of our characters. Okay, so I always want to get past that stage, because you always want to sort of throw rocks at your characters, or in my case I like to throw like houses on top of my characters. I like to make sure the world's just crushing them just a little bit, just enough so that they can breathe and push the world off them, but not enough to completely resolve everything in our life and, experience. So it was coming across a book that I actually am still reading, because it's not one of those books that you kind of just fly through. It's called 45 Master Characters by Victoria Lynn Schmidt, and she has a part in this novel, or this book rather, where she poses questions where you can actually work out which archetype your character fits into, all the similarities, or what's that word? I'm a writer, I should not. Stereotypes. It's pretty stereotypical in a way, but it's also really good to find out about the key points of your character and how they can grow in the novel. So I did this with my last character in my previous novel. The questions that you ask are, what are his fears and what does he need to overcome them? Okay, so you pretty much write all the fears that you can possibly think that your character has or will have or thinks he has, or you just listen to what your character's telling you. Okay, you write them all down and then you counteract them with ways that they can overcome them, because everybody can overcome their fears. Everybody can overcome negativity in their life, and so can your characters. And it's essential that your characters overcome these negativities and fears so that they can become stronger characters and people and situations. So they can become adaptable and reliant and patient and stronger in themselves. Because that's going to carry your character through. Even if at the end they're, depleted and strained and weak and crying and falling apart, they've still got these fears that they've already overcome. Okay? And then what you want to do is you want to look at your character. You want to sit down, maybe spend 15 minutes to half an hour, and you want to ask what happened in early life to make this dominant in their personality. Which I thought was really interesting, because when I've been doing introspective work, I've had to drag up my childhood shit and figure out, why do I feel like this way? Why do my parents anger me so much? Why do I react like this with women or men? Because, it's a reflection of how I handle my parents or what my parents did to other people. So it's kind of like, it's not a blaming thing at all. It's just looking at your shit and dealing with it and working through it so that you can actually build stronger relationships with the people around you. So you're doing the same thing with the characters. So one of my things at the top was, one of his fears was losing his job entirely and having to find another one. So I counteracted that with giving him plenty of work to do and keeping him employed and occupied, so that whatever there is that he is doing in his life or his job, there is next to no risk of them letting him go. Okay? Until he decides he wants to leave. So I've given him a job that, yes, it has its ups and downs, and he probably could leave it, and they probably will fire him, whatever. He has own inner strength enough to say, no, I'm doing some good work here. You want to keep me on. That's him overcoming his fear, because he's growing stronger in his environment and being more assertive, and he knows what he is worth. So he's overcoming the fear of losing his job, because most of the time it's an illusion. We think that we say something or do something, our boss is going to fire us, and sometimes it can actually work out. Sometimes it can work out bad, or sometimes our boss can go, wow, if this person actually speaks their mind, they're honest, they're passionate about what they're saying. It might be confronting, but what can I do with it? Can we actually do something to change the environment? So that's just one example. Another one is living alone or staying at home all his life. My character lives with his mother. He does. He lives with his mother, and his mother is a crazy batshit bitch. So I had to look at it and go, how can I get my character through this situation? And I thought, I wanted him to find a way to be around other people so that he's not just going to work and going home. He needs to be around other people, and that is kind of like resistance, and then the answer to the call, the answer to the journey, because it's even an inner journey for my character. He could get a new house. He's like in his 20s. If he gets off his ass and faces his fear, and it could be through a character to work that says, hey, they've got ads up on the wall for people renting rooms, or I've got a room, do you want to bunk with? Or someone, he might be waiting for a bus. Facing his fears and branching out, he's actually going to be able to make those changes in his life and overcome his fear of living with his mother. So those are just two examples. So I'll go through them again. It's what are his fears, or his or her fears, and what does he need to do to overcome them? And then, what happened at an early age to make this archetype dominant in his personality? He doesn't relate to women very well. Why? Because he's got a dominant mother. Why? Because her job is her life. She doesn't know anything else. you know, and that's all he knows, you know, and that's all he expects of women. So when women are more loose with their job and more playful, he gets frustrated because he's like, well, should you be more determined with your job? But it's also very crushing, and it puts pressure on him too. So that's a little thing to look at. Sorry, I'm nasally. I'm just going to wipe my nose for a second. Something to think about. Something that really relates to this too. Nurturing yourself and nurturing your fears and your strengths, because, you know, it takes a lot to actually congratulate yourself on what you've done. And this is going to lead to my next point. Okay, I was doing an exercise in The Sound of Paper by Julia Cameron. She talked about writing about 5 of your most creative disappointments or something along those lines. I'm still resistant, guys. I'm still resistant to doing that. I'm going to do it tonight because I need to do it. Being the optimist that I am, I took aside a piece of paper and I thought, fuck this. I'm really, really verbal right now, but I thought, no, I'm going to write the things I'm positive about, the things I love, because that's what's going to get me through Nano. That's what's going to be like, yes, I've done this, I've achieved this. So I pose all of you to write a creative list of 5 successes and achievements in your life to do with creativity. That can be creating something in your life, as in like a new relationship, a partnership, a house, or it can be something in like arty sort of sense, like a book, a painting. I'm just going to show you 5 from my list. Sorry. Okay. 1. Getting into professional and editing writing class. It took me years to have the courage to actually fulfill and follow my dreams in this area. I got told, you won't want to do this class because it's going to be boring. You want to do this class because it's going to ruin your creative style. You know, years and years and years. And, you know, you're better off being a nurse. You're better off being an aged care worker. You're better off. Okay? It took me a really long time to face my fear. Just like my characters and go, you know what, I believe in myself enough to be able to do this. That sounded really bad. Sorry, my nose. Having a newsletter for my business. Very simple. Okay, the very simple newsletter that I'm going to be putting out for my angel business. Took me a while to get to that stage. Took me a while to go, yes, I actually have to learn how to do computer things, to work with computers and face my fears. But that is such a big step. It means I can reach out to more people, just like I do with my YouTube channel. Completing NaNoWriMo many times. I've completed drafts of books, you know, they are first drafts. Some are still nothing, others I'm still, you know, working on here and there, but I've completed it and I've participated and I've met some brilliant people, and you guys know who you are, and I love you all, and I can't wait to meet more people. And for me, that is such a successful achievement in facing my fears and seeing the page and loving my passionate writing and, you know, sharing that with other people. That is a success for me. Every day I sit down and write is a success for me. Filling up journals and notebooks that I love. You know, as a child I used to fill these up like 1, 2 a day, something like that. It was just crazy. I had boxes and boxes of them. Now not so much, but you know, when I finish a journal, it's an accomplishment, it's a success, and I've put so much into that journal. And the best part about it, and the parts that I realized like about 6 or 7 months ago, is that this journal, when it's done, is a gold mine for creative work. It might be just entries or ideas or something now. You can repurpose and refurbish these ideas over and over and over again, as well as having something for yourself, a memory book. And lastly, I lost the page. Putting helpful vlogs up so people can be inspired, motivated, as well as educated. That is one of my greatest achievements in myself, is putting myself out there for you guys. Making these videos, even though sometimes I get scared and think that no one's going to watch them, that people are going to be bored with them, that all these things that my ego likes to tell me. But I know that when I've actually sat down at the end of the day and shared this stuff with you guys, despite being sick or happy or joyful or sad or whatever I'm feeling, I feel a sense of achievement, and it is a great achievement. Baby steps, guys, baby steps. I'm putting myself out there. I'm sharing this knowledge. You can take that knowledge and share it with other people. It's a consciousness. It's brilliant and beautiful, and I think we need to celebrate the little things, the tiny things that make each day just amazing. You know, we as a society, we tend to focus on the negatives. You know, I didn't get into that school. I don't have enough money, or you know, I don't know how to get published right now. I don't know if I think I could finish this book. Is this the right book for me? We can think about all the things that aren't or can't or won't be, but we can also think about the things that will be and are, and just love this process and love ourselves, because we are courageous enough and willing enough to follow this path, and I think it is beautiful. I'm going to actually link you guys down to an article my father wrote, because my father is also a writer and he's going through his journey after a great time. He started taking his writing more seriously in his 30s and 40s. He has something really good to say about his experience. I wanted to share it with you guys because, you know, it's also a healing experience between me and my dad, something we connect with. And I think that, you know, by talking to each other about this passion that we have and talking to each other's friends, and you know, my dad can tell his friends about me, and I can tell you guys about my dad, and it's kind of like it just makes this community so much better. It makes the world much better by acknowledging that we've in ourselves acknowledged and mothered ourselves enough to respect our passion. I'm gonna stop now because I'm rambling, but Blair inspirational talk over. So hopefully this helped you. I'm getting better every day, and yeah, so thank you guys for watching. I love you all. I hope you enjoyed this video, and goodbye.